great to be here today, and I'm very excited about this session. I've been a long-time attendee at STM. I'm so happy that we're back in person, and I think that this session ties in nicely both with the keynote, with the focus on achieving goals with trust through engagement, as well as the focus on research being a global endeavor. I'm just going to briefly introduce our speakers because as part of their short presentations, they're going to introduce themselves, so I don't want to rob them of that opportunity. We have Hilke Kurz, who is the Chief Information Officer for STM Solutions, Kim Steinle, Library Relations and Sales Manager for Duke University Press, Andrea Lopez, Director of Sales, Partnerships and Initiatives at Annual Reviews, and Blessing Moire, International Development Consultant and Research for Life Country Connectors.
Thank you, Heather, and thank you, STM. It is really nice to be back here in person and see everybody. I'm Andrea Lopez. I'm the Director of Sales, Partnerships, and Initiatives at Annual Reviews. I'm not going to be talking about Annual Reviews today, and I'm going to talk about the Subscribe to Open community of practice. I'm not going to go too much into the actual model of Subscribe to Open. I am going to briefly explain it, and then we'll talk about how we all collaborate together to make sure the model is successful. So if you're not familiar with the Subscribe to Open model, it's a very simple model. We ask libraries to continue to subscribe to the content that they think is valuable. If, in our case at Annual Reviews, if all of our subscriptions come in and we take into account the normal churn of subscriptions, we will publish that year's volume under a CC BY license. If we don't have our usual subscriptions come in, it stays behind a paywall. We developed this at Annual Reviews because the traditional models did not work for us. And it's a very easy model. There is no additional cost for the library. There's no additional cost for the publisher. You can keep your agents, and everything works exactly the same, except there's a different outcome when the volume is published. It's an inclusive model. It's an equitable model. It works for all disciplines, for all authors, all readers, in all countries. And we developed this model in cooperation with Rain Crow from the Chainbridge Group. We named it Subscribe to Open, but we decided not to trademark the name because we wanted to see if perhaps some other publishers would adopt the model. And we were really happy to see a few publishers adopt the model at around the same time we were in 2020. So we decided that we would put together a community of practice. And it really started, there were just 14 of us. There was a couple publishers, a sales agent, a funder, and librarians. And our goal was to make sure that this was a model that people understood, that it was a model that people accepted, and that we could all work together to advocate for the model. And that's now grown to over 100 participants. About 50% of that is our publishers. And a lot of the publishers aren't using Subscribe to Open. They simply join so they can understand it and learn about it. We have librarians, we have consortium managers, we have consultants, we have sales agents, and we're all really working together to try to make sure that this model is successful. And for me personally, when I came to Frankfurt in 2019 and started talking about Subscribe to Open, people looked at me like, what is this model? But now I hear it talked about in a lot of sessions. So I think the community has been successful. And we meet once a month under Chatham House rules, and we all talk, we share our experiences, we request advice of each other, we try to advocate for the model. When we first started, we all got together, we put a survey together, and we found that we really needed to do more education. So we speak with librarians, publishers, sometimes funders, whoever's appropriate for the audience. We speak at conferences. We, for the first time, will have a joint booth at Charleston, and that's publishers who might not have the funds or the staff to normally attend a conference like that will now have a booth together to promote their Subscribe to Open journals. We did put out a statement in response to the OSTP memorandum, supporting it, but asking that they take into account other business models and that we would like to engage with them. And we have started in 2020. There are 4 of us using Subscribe to Open, and we had 24 journals. In 2020, there were 12 of us using it for 95 journals, and in 2023, it's forecasted that there'll be 15 different publishers, and we're going to be publishing over 145 journals under the Subscribe to Open model. And the community of practice has really been a major factor in this expansion. I know for Annual Reviews, we're taking the bold step of trying to move forward with all 51 of our journals next year under this model, and I don't think with the support of all the people in the community of practice, we would be able to do that. It's really helpful if you can sit with your librarian partners. They're the people who are going to decide if this is a successful model, to speak with us and work with us and give us advice on how do we change our license so it works for them. Work with the sales agent. How does this work when you send out a renewal? So we've really worked together. And for me, I thought we were successful when I saw a job description across my desk this week. And one of the responsibilities was to assess models for open access. And it said read and publish, and it said subscribe to open. So I said, I think that the community of practice has made this model become more mainstream. So, thank you.
Good morning. It's very nice to be here. Great to see you all in person. I realized another benefit of having so many people in the room today is that my volume of emails has been delightfully low the last couple of days, so thank you all very much for that as well. My name is Giel Koers. I'm the Chief Information Officer for STM Solutions that was established last year as the operational arm of STM. STM Solutions is really about technology, but maybe more importantly, it's also really about collaboration and how we can get to better outcomes if we develop technology together and really work together to make it widely available across and for the benefit of the scholarly communications community, and at the end of the day for the researchers and the research community that we all serve. So for today I prepared 3 slides that speak about different programs that STM Solutions is engaged with, and that, at least to my mind, can only exist by virtue of collaboration. It's the sine qua non for these initiatives. I'm going to focus mostly on the collaborative aspects of those different initiatives, the different programs, and not go into a lot of detail on the specifics of them. But of course, if people have questions or would like to discuss, I'd be very happy to do so afterwards. So let me kick it off with speaking about GetFTR. GetFTR is really designed to close the gap, if you like, from a user perspective between the point of discovery and the point of access. Really providing users with a common interface, a common way to easily access the trusted version of record of a certain publication. The idea is to implement this in similar ways across different websites and really bring that improved, cohesive, consistent user experience across multiple sites, multiple points of discovery. Removes friction in the authentication process by providing also smart links that really set up the user to access the content that they're looking for with as little steps as possible and trying to bypass some of the access and authentication steps where possible. Another important aspect of GetFTR is the signaling of the entitlements, and the value here is that if you're a researcher and on a discovery site, you are informed ahead of the click if you will be able to access that material, and that really takes a lot of the uncertainty, a lot of the frustration out of the equation that researchers experience today. GetFTR was founded by 5 publishers, many of whom are in the room today, and today it's used by 15 publishers and integrated by 16 integrator sites, discovery services, scholarly collaboration networks, but also publisher reference lists, which is a use case that we've now started to open up as well. Moving on, and I think seamless access nicely dovetails with GetFTR, whereas GetFTR is all about pathways from the point of discovery to the point of access. Seamless access is all about improving the access experience, access to online content, but also other resources for researchers. Seamless access works both on and off campus, and it really builds on an underlying technology known as federated authentication. Federated authentication is very powerful, very sophisticated, but also rather complex and not easy to use out of the box. So seamless access aims to add the easy into federated authentication, if you like, enabling single sign-on and also supporting the continued development of this federation infrastructure and standards in that topic of federated authentication. Seamless access is run by a coalition of 4 different organizations. It's truly multi-stakeholder initiative. STM is one of them, the others are NISO, Géant, Internet2. And today it's being used by 14 publishers and 7 other research services. And those other research services typically operate in, they support research and actually doing the research, so a little bit more upstream, if you like. Think about, for example, national research infrastructures where the user also needs to authenticate to be able to make use of that resource. The last initiative that I wanted to mention is the STM Integrity Hub, which was really developed out of STM Solutions starting last year, with the mission to equip the scholarly communication community with the data, intelligence, and technology to protect research integrity. Think about it as a platform where people come together, like-minded people, to develop and deliver screening capabilities, to detect research integrity and scan for issues in submitted manuscripts before they make it into the scholarly record, so during the editorial process. The idea is that the Integrity Hub will give signals to editors or research integrity managers. It's never going to be making decisions autonomously, but really help to support and let people make it much easier by giving them the right signals to investigate things and make the right decisions. Technology here doesn't stand on itself. It's really an interplay with technology, editorial policies, legal frameworks, interoperability frameworks, and bringing that all together under this program of the STM Integrity Hub. Where we stand today is still very much a work in progress. This was initiated at the end of last year and really started to pick up momentum this year. But it's very rewarding to see that there are many organizations who are very actively supporting and engaging in the work, contributing to it. Over 25 publishers and other organizations actively participating. And as with the other one, of course, if you'd like to speak a bit more about this initiative, we'd be very happy to do so afterwards. For now, this is my closing slide for this initial part of the session. I was reflecting a little bit about these different initiatives, and what really struck me is how collaboration can take many shapes and many forms. So this is a bit of an anthology, if you like, about some of the manifestations of collaboration, ranging from delivering a more consistent user experience to network effects to operational efficiencies. And I'm thinking that's maybe a theme we can pick up and discuss a little bit more towards the end of the session. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see familiar faces and new faces as well. Kim Steinle from Duke University Press, and I'm here to talk about the what, why, and how of the Scholarly Publishing Collective. So first, the what. What is this? It's a collaboration between not-for-profit, society, scholarly publishers. Just journals right now, so this doesn't include books yet. This is managed by Duke University Press, and what it is a suite of services. So you can see the list here. It's a la carte, really. So a partner client can choose between print or digital fulfillment, they can have hosting services, they could have sales and marketing services. So it's not that you have to get everything, but when you look at these clients, they're all picking sort of a slightly different flavor of services. So Longleaf Services, for example, just doing print. And then we've got some of the university presses here that are choosing the full suite of services, including sales and marketing. So then the why. So there's a lot of things that have been happening in the industry that have caused the need for this collaboration. Certainly we all know about mergers and university presses and small publishers having less options for a variety of services, including hosting, including outsourced sales and marketing. Also, just, these publishers being able to get the attention of the library community. These are small publishers that don't have a sales team. Duke University Press has been really fortunate to be able to have the resources and support to have an active and growing library sales team. And something that we've always done is if another publisher comes and asks us, tell me how you do this. Tell me about your sales program. We were collaborating in that way. Really, this collective really made that more formal. So we formalized that collaboration. We also have a lot of experience with platform migrations. We've done several of them, and I've been fortunate to be on the NISO content platform committee because we have strong feelings about that. And so again, we're able to share with other smaller publishers our own experiences, because certainly Duke University Press, we're a small publisher, maybe medium ourselves, so we feel like it's in our best interest to share what we've learned over the years. And of course, this is what we want to see, is we're not competing, we're collaborating, and we want to see not only our own success, but the success of other university press and society publishers. Okay, so the how. This conversation has been happening for years, really. So like I mentioned, we were having conversations with other university press journal managers who were having challenges. They were saying, you know, we're not getting the attention of the library market. We're struggling with costs for outsourcing a variety of services like content platform, marketing, other things. You know, and so they came to us and, you know, asked, what can we do? What do you do? And so those casual conversations that were, you know, just providing advice moved towards something more formal. And really what sped up this project is when JSTOR ended their current scholarship program. Several of the clients that we have now were hosted on the JSTOR platform through this program. And so they needed to find a new platform host. And that was not something that they were going to be able to do on their own. It was pretty cost prohibitive. So there we started working with our current platform provider, Silverchair, to build a platform where these clients can have their content hosted. And so you can see the timeline started years ago, but then once things started moving quickly, they really started moving. So we had to, you know, use all of our skill and knowledge of platform migrations, and so we were able to launch in January of this year the Scholarly Publishing Collective platform. It's a different platform from ours, but there are definitely efficiencies. And so where we are now with the project is this summer we started offering publisher collections for 3 of the clients. So taking advantage of our experience with building pricing models and then going out to the library market for sales and marketing. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Blessing Mawire, and I'm here to present a new type of partnership or collaboration within the Research for Life programs. I'll start with a brief background on Research for Life. I'm happy that many of our partners are here, but some might not know what it is. So Research for Life is a private-public partnership between 5 UN agencies and over 160 publishers from the international sphere. And it is really designed in a way that it enhances scholarship, teaching, research, and policy making in many low to medium income countries by providing high quality peer-reviewed content. We've got, and we're working in over 125 countries, 127 to be precise, and we've got over 11,000 registered institutions in those countries. And access is to more than 40,000 journals, 169,000 books, and more than 150 other resources, mostly databases. Research for Life was launched just over 20 years ago, and it is supported by this partnership. So it's not really a new partnership, but the way that Research for Life is now evolving and growing and looking at other partnerships and collaborations is what I'm here to talk about. When we look at the impact of Research for Life over the last 20 years, we look at the research in terms of improving the research quality and the quantity in the countries that we're working in. The practice is also the impact on the policy making, because it provides an opportunity for the policymakers in these countries to make it more evidence-based and to be able to look at what is happening at a global scale as well and benchmark. We do have a new strategy, and I'll encourage you to pick up a copy at the registration desk during lunch. And this new strategy is really focused on our users and it's all around the users, and also focus on the research life cycle, and not just on Research for Life as a product or a program as such. And I'm going to talk a bit more about it later, but we really want to make sure that the research that is coming out from the low and medium income countries or the global south is made more visible, and that, like earlier on the other speaker spoke about, that really the users, our researchers, the librarians, and the policymakers become a part of what we're doing globally, and not just recipients of the content, but also are able to contribute and talk about the research that they're doing as well. So we really look at inclusion, participation, and equity of access in summary of this new strategy. I'm talking about a new collaboration that we have. It's an initiative called the Country Connectors Initiative, which I'm coordinating. And really the project works in the countries and in the region, so really closer to the users as such. So in each country, we create a tailored approach where we are networking, we're promoting and building the skills of these users. And the arrangement is really directly with the institutions. So we engage with the institutions, have a formal agreement, and the institutions in turn appoint 2 to 3 of their staff to become the implementers of the project. And really our goal is to heighten the awareness, strengthen the capacity, and build the communities of evidence users within the national and regional levels. In terms of what we are really focused on in terms of our collaborations at local level, we're harnessing the power of those local collaborations. We've realized through a pilot that we did in 12 countries in 2018 up to 2019 that when we have a formal agreement in an institution, it works. When we have inclusion and collaborations with major tertiary bodies in those countries, it works. And also, we partner with the professional bodies, so such as the library associations, law associations, and so forth, depending on the subject area. And also, most importantly, we're partnering with the technology institutions. And one of our biggest partners at country level are the National Research and Education Networks, because they are the ones who provide, for example, the last mile connections to the institutions. They are the ones who provide the ICT training. So really, some areas that we cannot directly provide to the users, but are key to make sure that Research for Life is used and they have access to the high quality research. We also are focusing on developing the social infrastructure in the countries, so through these local collaborations, but also the direct engagement with the researchers, the librarians, via the country connectors, who really understand what is happening on the ground, and who've got real-time information, who understand the policies around research, and also have got the numbers at the tip of their fingers. So the country connectors also are linked to our building of a local ambassador network, where we have champions based at the different institutions who work under the country connectors to make sure that the last message gets to the users as well. And we tailor the needs according to the user needs as well. Thank you. I will encourage you also to pick up our Partner Benefits Handbook outside at the registration desk, which also tells us more information about how to become a partner of Research for Life. Thank you.